Admiral Vex of the Galactic Confederation stared at the holographic displays showing Earth's defenses. For 3 centuries, humans had been the oddity of the galaxy, fragile-looking bipeds from a death world with gravity almost twice the galactic standard, atmospheric toxins that would kill most species, and weather patterns that could only be described as violently erratic. Yet somehow, they had presented themselves as peaceful explorers, scientists, and traders. "They've been lying to us," Vex said, mandibles clicking with agitation. All this time, his second-in-command, Officer Trell, fluttered her wing membranes nervously. "The intelligence reports confirm it, sir. The humans have been holding back, significantly." The Confederation had always viewed humans as curiosities, bizarrely durable creatures who could survive injuries that would kill most species, who could eat almost anything, who thrived in environmental conditions that would be considered apocalyptic on most worlds. But they had seemed so eager to fit in, so willing to accommodate the rest of the galaxy's needs, so careful not to frighten anyone with their Death World adaptations. Until the Mrazek Empire had decided that Earth's resources were worth taking, regardless of Confederation protection. Now the veil was lifting. "Play the transmission again," Vex ordered. The hologram shifted to show Captain Jack Mason of the Earth Defense Force. His face betrayed no emotion as he addressed the Confederation Council. "For 300 years, we have respected your customs. We've limited our strength, softened our words, and presented ourselves as just another member species. We did this out of respect, not fear. The Mrazek attack on our colony has changed everything. You've seen what happens when humans are pushed too far. This is your one warning. Withdraw all Confederation forces from the conflict zone. We will handle the Mrazek ourselves." Vex shuddered. The human hadn't raised his voice or made threats. He'd simply stated facts as if the outcome was already determined. "Show me the colony footage again," Vex said quietly. The hologram changed to surveillance footage from Nueva Terra, the human colony the Mrazek had attacked. The initial bombardment had followed standard Mrazek tactics, overwhelming force against civilian targets to break morale. It had worked on dozens of species, but not humans. The footage showed colonists, not soldiers, just ordinary civilian colonists, organizing with terrifying efficiency. Within hours, they had created defensive positions, improvised weapons, and launched counterattacks against Mrazek landing parties. One sequence showed a human female, bleeding from multiple wounds, lifting a metal beam that should have been impossible for her to move, to free trapped children. Another showed an elderly human male rigging power cells into improvised explosives that took out a Mrazek heavy tank. "What's this footage?" Vex asked, pointing to a new sequence. "The colony's mining team, sir," Trell replied. They tunneled under the Mrazek command post, with hand tools. The video showed the miners, faces streaked with dirt and blood, digging through solid rock with primitive implements. When they reached their target, they planted explosives and collapsed the entire Mrazek command center. "And these aren't their soldiers?" Vex confirmed. "No, Admiral. These are what humans call civilians." Vex's exoskeleton felt suddenly tight. "And now they're dropping the pretense altogether?" A new alert flashed on the display. "Sir, we've detected multiple human ships leaving their homeworld. They're headed toward Mrazek space." "Numbers?" Vex asked, dreading the answer. 500 ships, sir, and they're not the designs we've seen before." As the first images came through, Vex felt his primary heart stop momentarily. These weren't the sleek, diplomatic vessels humans had always used in galactic affairs. These were angular, black, bristling with weapons systems the Confederation had never seen before. "They've been hiding these?" he whispered. "Yes, sir," Trell replied. "Intelligence suggests they've had this fleet the entire time. They just never showed it to us." Vex stared at the image of the Armada. "They weren't adapting to us," he realized. "We were being domesticated by them." General Lisa Rivera surveyed the bridge of the EDF Thermopylae, Earth's flagship. Around her, the crew worked with quiet efficiency, preparing for what would be the first true demonstration of human military might to the galaxy at large. "Fleet status?" she asked. "Commander." Tom Reeves looked up from his console. "All 500 ships report ready, General. The Mrazek don't know we're coming." Lisa nodded. For centuries, humanity had hidden its true nature from the galactic community. The decision had been made in the early days of contact, when it became apparent that humans were significantly hardier than most alien species. Initial diplomatic interactions had resulted in unintentional terror. A friendly pat on the back had broken an alien diplomat's exoskeleton, a human sneeze had caused an entire delegation to faint, and the casual mention of humans enjoying spicy food, essentially mild poison to most species, had generated diplomatic incidents. So humanity had played nice. They'd moved carefully around the fragile aliens, hidden their full strength, concealed their military capabilities, and pretended to be just another spacefaring species, rather than the apex predators of a death world. Message from Earth Command, Communications Officer Ben Davis announced. Operation Revelation is go, Lisa straightened. Send to all ships, execute Phase 1. The human fleet accelerated to speeds that would have shocked the Confederation. Speeds made possible by propulsion, technology humans had kept secret. The official human ships known to the galaxy operated at the galactic standard. These warships moved at 5 times that velocity. Approaching the Mrazek colony at Torvin IV, Navigation Officer Emma Wright reported. This is where they staged their attack on Nueva Terra. Put it on screen, Lisa ordered. The planet appeared on the main display. A Mrazek military outpost with orbital defenses and a sizable fleet in geosynchronous orbit. They've spotted us, Tactical Officer Mark Sutton announced. They're scrambling. To battle positions, Lisa watched calmly as the Mrazek fleet formed up. Their ships were impressive by Confederation standards, heavily armored and bristling with weapons. 3 months ago, those same ships had bombarded Nueva Terra, killing thousands of human colonists. Open a channel, Lisa ordered. Ben worked his console. Channel open. This is General Lisa Rivera of the Earth Defense Force. Your empire has attacked a human colony and slaughtered our people. We are here to respond. The main screen flickered, showing the insectoid face of a Mrazek commander. His translator converted a series of clicks and whistles to human speech. Humans. Your colony had resources our empire requires. Submit now, and we may allow some of your species to live as servants. Lisa's expression didn't change. You misunderstand. I'm not here to negotiate. I'm here to inform you of what's about to happen. You have 1 hour to evacuate any civilians from your military installations. After that, we will eradicate every military asset you possess in this system. The Mrazek commander's antennae vibrated with what humans had learned was their equivalent of laughter. Your Confederation protectors aren't here, humans. Our fleet outnumbers yours 3-1. We didn't bring the Confederation into this, Lisa replied. We told them to stay out of our way. She cut the transmission with a gesture. They're powering. Weapons, Mark reported. Let them fire first, Lisa ordered. Full defensive systems only until the hour is up. I meant what I said about giving civilians time to evacuate. Tom approached her station. They won't believe we can do it. The Mrazek have conquered 12 species. Their military technology is considered advanced even by Confederation standards. Lisa nodded. Yes, but they've never fought Deathworlders before. They've never fought humans who weren't holding back. She checked the chronometer. 58 minutes until we show them exactly what that means. On the screen, the first Mrazek energy weapons flared toward the human fleet. And so it begins, Lisa murmured. The day humanity stops pretending. Officer Trell's wings fluttered anxiously as she brought Admiral Vex the latest intelligence report. The Confederation monitoring post near Torvin IV had been observing the confrontation between the human and Mrazek fleets. Sir, you need to see this, she said, her voice trembling. Vex took the datapad, his compound eyes widening as he processed the information. This can't be correct. The data has been verified, sir. Multiple sources. The display showed the aftermath of what could only be described as a slaughter. The Mrazek fleet, once considered one of the most formidable military forces in the known galaxy, had been reduced to drifting debris. Their planetary defense systems, designed to withstand bombardment for weeks, had been neutralized in minutes. The humans gave them a 1-hour warning, Trell said. Scans confirmed that most Mrazek civilian ships were able to evacuate the military installations before the attack began. How considerate of them, Vex said dryly, mandibles clicking nervously. And our analysis of their weapons systems? Incomplete, sir. Our sensors couldn't properly analyze much of what we observed. The humans appear to have gravitational manipulation technology far beyond anything in the Confederation database. They were literally tearing Mrazek ships apart at the molecular level. Vex stared at the footage showing human ships moving with impossible precision, their black hulls absorbing most scanning attempts. The few weapons signatures they could detect suggested energy outputs that should have been impossible for vessels that size. "This changes everything," he whispered. "The galactic balance of power." "Sir," Trell interrupted, "we've received a transmission from the human fleet. It's being broadcast on all Confederation channels. The hologram activated, showing General Rivera standing on her bridge. Her face was composed, her uniform immaculate. This message is for the Mrazek Empire and the Galactic Confederation. The attack on Nueva Terra has been answered. We have destroyed the Mrazek military forces at Torvin IV. We took care to minimize civilian casualties, unlike the Mrazek when they attacked our colony." Her eyes seemed to harden, though her voice remained level. "For 3 centuries, humanity has respected galactic conventions. We've hidden our true capabilities out of respect for a community that fears strength because they've only seen it abused. We've played the role of just another member species. That ends today." She gestured, and the view shifted to show the human fleet arranging itself into a formation that, even to alien eyes, projected overwhelming power. "To the Mrazek, you have 48 hours to return all human prisoners, withdraw from all contested territories, and present yourselves to the Confederation for war crimes prosecution. If you do not comply, we will systematically eliminate your military capacity across the galaxy. We have the means and the will to do so." The camera returned to Rivera's face. "To the Confederation, stay out of our way. We have no quarrel with peaceful species, but we will no longer pretend to be less than we are. Humanity evolved on a world that tried to kill us every day. Our history is thousands of years of conflict and survival against impossible odds. We chose peace when we joined the galactic community. But never mistake that choice for weakness or inability." The transmission ended, leaving the Confederation leadership in stunned silence. "Sir," Trell finally said, "we're receiving reports from across Confederation space. Every human ambassador, trade representative, and cultural attaché has delivered the same message to their host governments. Human ships are repositioning throughout the galaxy." "Are they threatening us?" another officer asked. "No," Vex replied, understanding dawning. "They're showing us that they could have done so at any time. 300 years they've had ships like these. 300 years they've been stronger than they've let anyone see." He stared at the display showing the human fleet. "All this time we thought we were helping the humans adapt to galactic society," he said quietly. "But they were the apex predators all along, just choosing not to hunt." Major Roy Barnes led his strike team through the corridors of the Mrazek prison facility on Gantus II. His powered armor moved silently despite its bulk, adaptive camouflage rendering him nearly invisible in the dim lighting. Behind him, 20 soldiers from the Earth Special Forces moved with the same predatory grace. "Life signs ahead," Lieutenant Kelly Wilson reported through the tactical network. "Matching human biosignatures. Looks like we found our people." The intelligence had been correct. After the destruction of the Mrazek fleet at Torvin IV, most of the Empire had begun to comply with human demands. But hardliners had barricaded themselves in fortified positions throughout Mrazek space, using human prisoners as shields. They were about to learn that humans didn't respond well to threats against their own. "Security systems?" Roy asked. "Disabled," tech specialist Alan Parker replied. "They never imagined someone could physically infiltrate this facility. Their automated defenses are designed to stop species they've encountered before. Not humans who had spent generations training for warfare in environments that would kill most sentient beings in the galaxy." They reached a heavy security door. Alan interfaced with the control panel, his neural implants, another technology humans had kept hidden, making short work of the alien encryption. "Got it," he said. "Prisoners are being held in a central chamber. 37 humans, mostly colonists from Nueva Terra. Life signs stable but showing signs of malnutrition and possible torture." Roy felt a cold rage building but kept his voice steady. "And Mrazek forces?" Approximately 50 guards, heavily armed. Breach pattern Delta, Roy ordered. Non-lethal measures only if they surrender immediately. Otherwise, full response authorized. His team acknowledged with brief status lights in his heads-up display. The humans had decided to show mercy where possible, not out of fear or weakness, but because true apex predators could afford to be merciful. The door slid open, and the team moved in with practiced precision. The Mrazek guards reacted with surprise that quickly turned to terror. They had never seen humans move like this, had never imagined that the seemingly polite, careful bipeds could become blurs of lethal efficiency. Their weapons discharged wildly, energy bolts dissipating harmlessly against advanced human armor. Roy's team responded with surgical precision. Those Mrazek who dropped their weapons were immobilized with targeted electromagnetic pulses. Those who continued fighting discovered firsthand why humans were adapted to a death world. The battle, if it could be called that, was over in less than 2 minutes. Prisoners secure, Kelly reported. Multiple injuries, but all alive. Roy approached the holding cells where the human colonists were kept. The force field deactivated under Allen's command, and Roy removed his helmet to address the shocked prisoners. "I'm Major Roy Barnes, Earth Defense Force. We're here to take you home." An elderly man stepped forward, his face gaunt, but his eyes burning with an intensity Roy recognized. The unbreakable human spirit. "About damn time you dropped the diplomatic act," the man said, his voice rough from weeks of captivity. "We've been telling these bugs that they had no idea what they were poking." Roy helped the man stand. "The galaxy's learning that lesson now." "What happened?" another prisoner asked, a young woman being helped to her feet by Kelly. "Earth has decided to stop pretending," Roy explained simply. "The Mrazek attacked our colony, killed our people, took you prisoner. So humanity has revealed itself." "The Confederation?" the elderly man asked. "Staying out of it, which is wise of them. This is between humans and the Mrazek now." As they evacuated the prisoners, Roy received a transmission from orbit. "Major, Mrazek reinforcements inbound. Heavily armed capital ships." Roy smiled grimly. "How many?" "5 dreadnoughts, sir." "Good," he replied. "Send them the standard warning. 1 chance to withdraw." "And if they don't take it?" Roy looked at the freed prisoners, at the suffering they had endured at Mrazek hands. "Then show them what happens when you cage Deathworlders." The Confederation Council chamber was in uproar. Representatives from 87 species shouted over one another. Mandibles clicking, tentacles waving, bioluminescent patterns flashing in patterns of distress. At the center of the chamber, Admiral Vex struggled to maintain order. "Please," he called, his translator amplifying his voice. "We must approach this situation rationally." Gradually, the chamber quieted. The human representative seat sat conspicuously empty. The Earth delegation had recused themselves from this emergency session, stating simply that the matter was not open for debate. "The facts are these," Vex continued when he could be heard. "In the 7 days since their ultimatum, the humans have systematically neutralized approximately 60% of the Mrazek Empire's military capacity. They have liberated all human prisoners, and they have begun dismantling Mrazek colonial outposts in disputed territories. They are violating Confederation law," shouted the representative from Koltar, a methane-breathing species known for their strict adherence to galactic regulations. "No member species may take unilateral military action of this scale." "Perhaps you'd like to tell them that yourself?" replied the representative from Durrani, an ancient species whose evolutionary path had emphasized intelligence over physical durability. "I'm sure the Deathworlders would be very interested in your opinion." The Koltar representative's breathing apparatus hissed in agitation, but fell silent. "The humans warned us," Vex said into the quiet. "For 3 centuries they've sent us literature, historical records, entertainment media, all depicting their true nature. We dismissed it as primitive fantasy, cultural exaggeration. We ignored the evidence before our eyes because it was more comfortable to see them as just another species finding their place in the galaxy." He activated a holographic display showing footage from the latest human military operation, a precision strike against a Mrazek weapons facility. The black ships moved with impossible coordination, their weapons cutting through Mrazek defenses like they were made of vapor. "Intelligence analysis confirms what many of us suspected," Vex continued. The humans have maintained two entirely separate technological paths since first contact. The official technology they've shared with the Confederation, and their true military capability, which they've kept hidden. Out of fear? Asked the Durrani representative. No, Vex replied. Out of courtesy. The humans recognized that their true capabilities would frighten most species. So they held back, created a facade compatible with galactic sensibilities. The display changed to show a human mining colony on an asteroid belt. Confederation scientists had always marveled at how humans could work in such harsh conditions. Now the footage zoomed in to show what the humans were actually doing, casually manipulating heavy machinery and gravity and radiation that would kill most species, working tirelessly in environments that should have been impossible to survive without advanced protection. We've been treating them like a developing species, Vex said. All this time they've been treating us like children they didn't want to frighten. What are we to do? Asked the representative from Zilth, their bioplasmic form rippling with concern. If the humans truly unleash their full military capability, I believe that is precisely what they are demonstrating they could do, Vex replied, but have not. Note the precision of their strikes against the Mrazek. No civilian targets, no collateral damage, no indiscriminate destruction. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. The humans are not conquering, the Durrani representative said slowly. They're setting boundaries, showing what happens when those boundaries are crossed. Precisely, Vex agreed. Which leaves us with one question. Do we accept the new reality, or do we foolishly challenge it? The silence that followed was answer enough. Professor Alex Miller watched the students file into the lecture hall at the Galactic Confederation University on Harmony Station. 3 weeks after what was now being called the Revelation, he had been invited to give a special lecture series on human history and biology. The audience consisted of diplomats, military officers, and academics from across the Confederation, all eager to understand the species they had so fundamentally misunderstood. The irony wasn't lost on Alex. For years he had taught at this same university, delivering carefully sanitized lessons about Earth and humanity. Now, he was being asked to tell the truth. Good morning, he began as the hall settled. I think we can dispense with pleasantries. You're all here because you want to understand what happened and why humans concealed their true nature for so long. A Durrani academic raised a delicate appendage. Professor, is it true that humans can survive radiation doses that would kill most species? Alex smiled. Yes. Our cells have remarkably efficient repair mechanisms, a necessity on a planet where solar radiation constantly bombards the surface. What you consider lethal radiation exposure, we consider a bad sunburn. He activated the holographic display, showing Earth's evolutionary history. Humanity evolved on a planet that tried to kill us at every turn. Extreme temperature variations, natural disasters, predators, disease, radiation, our bodies adapted to survive it all. But our greatest adaptation wasn't physical, it was psychological. The display showed early human settlements, then cities, then modern Earth metropolises. We learned to cooperate, to build civilizations despite our naturally territorial instincts, to channel our predatory nature into creativity and exploration. When we discovered the wider galaxy and realized how physically fragile most species were compared to us, we made a choice. Another academic, a methane breather in an environmental suit, spoke up. You chose to deceive the galactic community. We chose to adapt, Alex corrected gently, just as we always have. We recognized that our natural strength, endurance, and resilience would be terrifying to species who evolved on worlds far more forgiving than Earth. So we created a version of ourselves that could integrate with galactic society without causing panic. But the weapons, a Confederation military officer interjected. The technology you concealed was developed because of our history, Alex explained. Humanity nearly destroyed itself multiple times before achieving unity. Those experiences taught us that power must be balanced with restraint. We kept our military capabilities secret, not to threaten the galaxy later, but precisely because we didn't want to be perceived as a threat. He changed the display to show the recent human operations against the Mrazek. What you're seeing now isn't humans becoming something new. It's humans revealing what we've always been. The Mrazek made A critical error. They assumed our careful behavior in galactic affairs reflected our capabilities, rather than our choices. A Zilth diplomat's bioplasmic form pulsed with what Alex had learned to recognize as deep concern. What assurance do we have that humans won't decide to conquer the galaxy, now that this facade has been dropped? Alex smiled. The same assurance you've always had, that we choose not to. Humanity could have conquered much of the galaxy centuries ago if that had been our goal. Instead, we joined the Confederation, shared the knowledge we could without causing fear, and worked for mutual prosperity. He looked around the room, meeting the eyes, optical sensors, and sensory apparatuses of dozens of species. The difference is that now, the choice is visible to all. We're not hiding anymore. We're not pretending to be less than we are. And yes, that means the galaxy must come to terms with the fact that humans are apex predators from a death world. But it also means you can finally know us as we truly are. Not just our strength, but our compassion. Not just our capacity for violence, but our deeper desire for peace. The room was silent for a long moment. We call Earth a death world, Alex concluded. But we've never seen it that way. To us, it's simply home. The crucible that forged us into what we are. And what we are, what we've always been, is a species that survived not just through strength, but through our ability to transcend our nature when necessary. The question now is whether the galaxy can do the same. The Mrazek High Command bunker fell silent as Supreme Commander Kraz reviewed the final reports. After 30 days of conflict with the humans, the once mighty Mrazek military had been reduced to less than 15% of its former strength. Every major weapons facility had been neutralized. Every battleship had been destroyed or disabled. Every military outpost had been systematically dismantled. And yet, not a single Mrazek civilian had been harmed by direct human action. It is over, Kraz clicked to his assembled generals. We have no choice but to accept their terms. Surrender to prey species? Hissed General Vrock. His carapace cracked from a recent escape when humans had destroyed his command ship. It is unthinkable. They are not prey, Kraz replied simply. They never were. We were simply too arrogant to see it. The holographic communicator activated, showing General Rivera of the human forces. Her face showed no triumph, no gloating, just the patient determination that had characterized all human communications since the conflict began. Supreme Commander, she acknowledged. Have you reached a decision? Kraz straightened his injured form as much as possible. We accept your terms, human. The Mrazek Empire will withdraw from all contested territories, submit to Confederation oversight, and provide reparations to the human colony we attacked. Rivera nodded. Your cooperation will be noted. A Confederation peacekeeping force will arrive within 12 hours to begin the transition. Human forces will withdraw once they arrive. The transmission ended, leaving the Mrazek leaders to contemplate their defeat. What did we miss? General Vrock asked, his defiance giving way to genuine confusion. How could we have so severely misjudged them? Kraz activated a display showing footage from the Nueva Terra attack. He had reviewed it countless times, trying to understand where they had gone wrong. We judged them by Confederation standards, he said finally. We saw their careful behavior, their diplomatic restraint, their willingness to compromise, and we interpreted it as weakness. The footage showed human colonists fighting back against impossible odds, improvising weapons, protecting the injured, sacrificing themselves to save others. But their restraint was a choice, Kraz continued, not a limitation. They weren't weak, they were controlling their strength. And when we threatened their people, they simply stopped holding back. Aboard the Thermopylae, Lisa Rivera received confirmation that the Mrazek had formally surrendered to Confederation authorities. The month-long campaign had achieved all its objectives with minimal loss of human life and no civilian casualties on either side. Orders, General? Commander Reeves asked. Begin fleet withdrawal as planned, Lisa replied. Maintain observation, positions at the established perimeter, but allow the Confederation forces to manage the transition. And our next steps? Lisa looked at the galactic map, at the thousands of worlds where humans now lived openly as what they truly were. Deathworlders who had mastered not just survival, but civilization. Now comes the hard part, she said. Building a new relationship, with the galaxy based on truth rather than accommodation. A communication alert sounded, showing Admiral Vex of the Confederation requesting contact. "Put him through," Lisa said. The insectoid admiral appeared on screen. "General Rivera, the Confederation Council has formally acknowledged the new status of humanity within our community. There is much to discuss about the future." "Indeed, Admiral. But the principles remain the same as they've always been. Mutual respect, cooperation, peaceful exchange of ideas and resources. But now, without the pretense," Vex noted. "Without the pretense," Lisa agreed. "Humanity joined the galactic community seeking friendship, not dominance. That hasn't changed. What has changed is that now, the galaxy understands what that friendship truly means. That we choose peace not from weakness, but from strength. That we value civilization not because we need it to survive, but because we believe in its possibility, despite knowing its fragility." Vex's mandibles clicked, and what Lisa had learned was thoughtful acknowledgement. "The Deathworlders who chose to act civilized, even when they didn't have to." "We've always been both, Admiral," Lisa replied. "Deathworlders and builders of civilization. Predators and poets, warriors and healers. The galaxy just never saw the full picture before." "And now that we do?" Vex asked. Lisa smiled. "Now we begin again, with truth between us. And perhaps the galaxy will learn what humanity discovered long ago. That true civilization isn't the absence of strength, but the wisdom to know when not to use it." As the Thermopylae began its journey home, the stars beyond the viewports seemed somehow brighter than before, illuminating not just a galaxy changed by recent events, but a future where humanity no longer needed to hide what it had always been. Deathworlders, yes. But Deathworlders who had mastered the greatest challenge of all themselves.